Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Travis and Susie here from the Wolf Hunters. We got a reaction video for you, and we got this link right here. You can find that link in the description box below the video. There's a blue link. Click and pick it if you want to request your own personal reaction video. Today's video is brought to you by Brian, bringing us New Jersey crumb cake from Cook's Country.
Brian says this. Hi, Travis and Susie. It looks like your pal, Gracchus Wainwright, beat me to breaking in a cooking video on your channel. By the way, Alexandra endearingly refers to these types of videos as food pornography. That's how she says it, too. Because
so sophisticated.
Because she catches me watching them whenever I'm enjoying a dram of whiskey. Oh. And I get much more engrossed by them than real pornography. Well,
that's good.
That's wholesome. Ironically, all these clips she calls food pornography are rated TVG, which makes it even funnier to her that I turn them off as soon as she walks into the room. Why do you do that?
That's so funny.
Even more ironically, I have never attempted to discuss whiskey drinking, which she'll occasionally get on my case about. But she's never once complained about anything I watch, unless it's the music critic Dave Hurwitz. Anyway, if beanie wieners aren't your thing, then how about some New Jersey style crumb cake? Have you ever had an Entenmann's crumb cake before? I have had Entenmann's. Yes, we have. I made this recipe, and I can personally attest to it tasting exactly like Entenmann's. But it's less than a third of the price. Every single recipe I've tried from Cook's Country and America's Test Kitchen has turned out to be superb. I hope you guys try to make this yourselves if you like crumb cake.
Send me a picture next time you make one.
It's quite therapeutic to make. Even more so than making potato salad from scratch, which is excellent for mental health. Like I always say, sooner or later, all of us have to make our own potato salad one day. Or in this case, our own crumb cake. Yeah, crumb cake. Why not? And then there's a timestamp.
Start at the beginning
and
end at 10 minutes.
Travis sometimes watches some person also make food. And I can tell that he's watching it because the person has a very specific voice.
Hold on, let's just go to the bigger screen.
Hit the like button and subscribe.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, I don't know what it is, but he cooks the same thing, like, in every video. But he keeps doing videos, and I still like to keep watching it. I don't know why.
You just like it.
Yeah.
Anyways. I'm excited for this because I, myself, do not like potato salad. So if this is as satisfying to make as potato salad, then I might just have to give
curious.
it a try.
Yeah, I'm really curious on how
New
how
Jersey
difficult
crumb
this is.
buns.
Oh.
All right, let's do it.
Crumb buns.
All right, 0 to 10 minutes.
I would like to call it crumb buns.
It's a timestamp. That's a nice push. Oh, we should be eating a brownie while we watch this. I baked brownies today, which is unusual. Along the road, anytime you want it, you can find me living right between your eyes. Oh, I think I'm home. Oh, I think I'm
home. Today on Cook's Country, Julia and Bridget make the ultimate New Jersey crumb buns. Ooh. Adam reviews nonstick skillets. And Lon makes Julia a streamlined recipe for cheese blintzes with raspberry sauce. That's all right here on Cook's Country.
Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
I want that.
New Jersey is the center of the crumb confection world, where crumb cakes, locally known as crumb buns, are bakery standard. In fact, at Hackensack's beloved B&W Bakery, where they've guarded the crumb bun recipe since 1948, they make an average of 2,000 pounds of streusel each week. Crumb buns are even embedded in New Jersey history. In the 1960s, there was a bowling league team in Ashby Park called the Crumb Buns. And in 1974, under the guise of buying crumb buns, 2 robbers made off with a measly heist of $171 from a Plainfield bakery. Now, the money was never recovered, but the buns were found by the railroad.
I thought he was going to say they stole crumb buns. They stole money. They stole money, right?
Oh, yeah.
Am I hearing this wrong?
No. They found crumb buns by the railroad station, she said.
Bowling league team in Ashby Park called the Crumb Buns. And in 1974, under the guise of buying crumb buns, 2 robbers made off with a measly heist of $171 from a Plainfield bakery. Now, the money was never recovered, but the buns were found by the railroad. And today we're solving another mystery, how to make great crumb buns at home. So let's head into the kitchen. Sticky buns, cinnamon buns, monkey bread, any kind of coffee cake. Pretty much, I love anything made with cinnamon, especially when it comes to brunch or breakfast. And this sounds like it's, well, right up my alley. It's got soft yeasted cake underneath and a big blanket of huge streusel crumbs on top. I mean, it sounds like paradise.
This is totally your kind of thing. As you know, cinnamon breakfasty things are not my kind of thing.
That's right.
But I love this because it reminds me of my grandmother's kuchen. That bottom layer, that cake layer, is a little bready. It has yeast in it, and it's really strong because it needs to support all those crumbs on top. It all starts with the cake, and that's what we're gonna start with first. Here we have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, we tried for the recipe for the cake and the crumbs to use as many similar ingredients, so you don't have to buy a lot or prep a lot, but they both need different kinds of flour. AP flour, crucial for here, again, for structure to support the crumbs.
Makes sense.
To this, we're gonna add 3/4 cup of whole milk, just a little bit of sugar. This is a 1/4 cup of sugar, and for a breakfast Danish, that's not a lot.
No.
1 whole egg. And this is a packet of instant yeast, about 2 1/4 teaspoons. So we'll sprinkle that right in. Last but not least, a little salt. 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. We're just gonna stir this together. Just combine them. Just wanna get it a head start before you put it on the mixer. We're gonna put it on low for about 2 minutes or so until the dough comes together. All right, so that dough has come together. Now it's time to add 6 tablespoons of butter, a tablespoon at a time. And I'm gonna wait until that butter is nicely incorporated before I add the next. All right, now I'm gonna crank the speed up a little bit to about medium high, and we're gonna let it really go so the dough is nice and webby, and that takes about 6 minutes.
All right.
I feel like if I had a KitchenAid, I would make this.
All right, hard to talk over that mixer sometimes.
It's super webby in
It
there.
is.
We
That's
shouldn't
gluten
have a
buildup. We
KitchenAid.
want to make a
Rudy
good,
eats so
strong
many
cake
baked
to support
goods.
those crumbs.
There you go.
All right, time to put it into its pan, and this is just your average 9x13 baking dish. We greased it with some vegetable oil spray. And if you notice, it's a greased spatula. This is a very sticky dough. So do
Yeah,
the
I
best
see
you
that.
can
It
with
looks like
your
more
spatula,
like
but
a
you're
pizza
eventually
dough
gonna have to go in there with
Yeah.
your hands.
Than like
The
a
trick to
cake.
that, a little flour. Just a little flour.
It's like a
spread
sweetened
it.
focaccia.
That sticky dough makes such a chewy, almost bready cake. And you can see I'm really being careful to keep flouring my hands so that it doesn't stick.
Learning all these
The more you
tricks.
can press it out even now, the better off you are, because this is gonna rise, the yeast is gonna work its magic, and when it rises, you don't wanna manhandle it too much, because you wanna keep that air in the cake. So now's your time to really get it nice and even. So we're gonna cover this with plastic, let it rise in a nice warm place for about an hour.
I didn't know
All
there was
right, and
different
if you'd like
kinds
to
of
check out
flour.
the make-ahead instructions for our crumb buns, well, go to our website. That's cookscountry.com.
All right, so while that dough is rising, we're gonna focus on the most important part, the crumb topping. There aren't many ingredients, but the amounts of each really matter. So starting with the butter, this is 18 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. If you use more, they're greasy. If you use less, they're too hard. Next up, sugar. We tried using all white sugar, too dry. All brown
I also just learned recently from the other show that you were talking about that I watch that if you cook with unsalted butter, it doesn't burn.
But salted butter is so good.
So good.
sugar, too wet. Combo, perfect.
Right, Goldilocks.
Exactly. 3/4 cup of dark brown sugar. You could use light brown, but dark brown makes a little more flavor. 3/4 cup of white sugar. Cinnamon, your favorite part.
There it is.
A whopping teaspoon and a half.
Love it.
A little salt to bring everything
Sounded like
together.
she
This
answered
is
me.
half a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna whisk this together until there's no clumps left and some of the sugar has dissolved. All right, now it's time to add the flour. And remember how I said at the beginning, we're gonna use 2 types of flour. The cake needs AP flour. In here, it just made the crumbs that were way too hard and tough. So you have to use cake flour here.
All right, so all-purpose in the cake, but cake in the streusel.
That's it. And this is 4 cups of cake flour. We're gonna add
put it
this and
all
we're
in.
gonna stir it together. And this almost makes like a cookie dough. Oh yeah.
Ooh,
And
we
it
all
just takes
like
a little
that.
bit of time to stir this together by hand. We really gotta work these
Only you
last
can
bits
eat
of
it 'cause
flour
it's
into
no
this
eggs.
dough. This is the hardest and most important part of the
Oh,
recipe
that's
right
true.
here. Oh, that's looking good. Now I'm gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes, really let that flour hydrate before we sprinkle it on top of the dough and bake it.
All right.
The cake has risen, this has rested for 10 minutes. It's time to put the 2 together.
Yes.
So this takes a little bit of time, great time to get your friends involved. Now, if it's at this time, you see the dough's pulled away from the sides of the dishes, don't hesitate to get in there with lightly floured hands and really push it back.
Okay.
But didn't happen to us this time.
All right.
So the key is pick up a piece of dough, crumble it into 1/2-inch crumbles or so. And this takes a while because there's a lot of crumb topping.
Well, it's kind of fun anyway.
Totally fun.
Get the kids involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want 2 small pieces.
That's right.
Right. Now, if you'd used the streusel right away without allowing that 10-minute rest, it just would have been too crumbly, falling apart too much.
You know, it's a fairly dry dough when it's going into a hot oven. It would have tasted dusty.
Okay.
So it just allows that flour to hydrate so it doesn't taste so raw.
Right. You know, the good news is it's fully covered, and the great news is
There's
we
more.
have this much more to put on.
Wow.
It's true.
It's
my
the gift that keeps on giving.
This guy is ready for the oven. We're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes until a skewer can be inserted into the center and comes out clean. Oh, that looks terrible.
You should give it all to me for me to dispose, Julia. Brown and crumbly and oh, yes.
All right, so to test the doneness, we're just gonna poke it with a skewer right in the middle, pull it out, and you're looking for a very clean skewer, no sign of batter or any raw.
All right.
And it is done. It is also insanely hot.
Yes.
We have to let it cool until it's completely cool. That takes about 3 hours.
I would crush this and then crash after. I would need a nap from all that
All right,
sugar.
it is cooled and ready to go. Now to get this out of the pan, we're gonna use 2 spatulas, and I'm just kind of shoving them down
they're gonna pull it
one
out?
side, and
That's
then you
a
kind of
trick
loosen
if
it.
I ever
See
saw
how that-
one. I never
yeah.
saw that.
Heavily
trick
greased
before.
pan pays off.
That's
here.
it. Then I'm gonna slide the spatulas under the cake and lift it out. That's
Oh,
it,
it's
and
more
look
like
at
a
that.
bread.
Oh, wow.
Easy
Wow.
peasy. Now we're gonna cut into
nice.
12
Seems fake.
good-sized pieces, and to do that, I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'll just deal with
nice
half
knife.
here. Oh, that looks like a good size.
Sounds so good.
There we
Long
go.
slicing knife is paying off
Oh
there.
yeah, and I'm gonna separate them a little so that when I dust with sugar, it really gets all over. And a little trick with powdered sugar is get a fine mesh strainer, and then you spoon the sugar into the strainer, and then you just kind of hit it over the top,
Beautiful.
and it's snowing.
We actually tried to figure out what the difference between New York crumb cake, New York crumb buns, New Jersey crumb cake, New Jersey crumb buns are. What we found was a lot of people had different definitions
Yes.
of these 2 desserts. But we're calling it New Jersey crumb buns because we found that in New Jersey it really is all about the crumb. Much lower amount of cake to crumb ratio.
A nice, slightly larger size for you.
These look like crumb buns from Wonderland.
Oh my gosh.
You're right. I love that bit of yeast
It's
in
so
there.
thick.
It makes it not too sweet. Actually, the crumb cake itself is not really that sweet at all. It's
No.
just a hint of sweetness. Thank you, Julia. Well, you have got to try these crumb buns. They are A1 awesome. Now, it starts with a
A1.
sturdy and rich dough.
A1.
You work butter right into the dough, pat it into a pan, and let it rise. In the meantime, mix butter, 2 sugars, cinnamon with flour, and then
Right,
break it
Julia?
up into pieces and scatter that all over the dough for a huge blanket of streusel crumbs.
If we had any
Bake
packets
it,
of
let it
yeast,
cool,
we could
then
just
dust
make this
with
right
a
now.
snow shower of confectioner's sugar. So from Cook's Country and the Garden State, the most amazing New Jersey crumb buns.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clunk.
That was awesome.
Dang,
Oh
that
my
was-
god.
That was amazing.
That was a nice, thick
Thick.
bun.
That was a thick
Those were
crumb buns.
Those were some thick buns, right?
Those were the kind of buns you want to get your hands on, you know? I could keep going, but I'm not going to.
My wheels are turning. And I know it's just trouble.
Trouble. That's where I'll stop.
Oh, goodness.
Whew.
Wow. All right.
Poor Travis starts sweating.
Oh, yeah. Brian, I want a picture next time.
You know, a picture of Brian's buns.
It's wrong. Just
That was
wrong.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
That would be like a fun thing to try to do.
We should do that. Like live.
And film it. Yeah, that would be a good time.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I don't know if it could be live though, because it would take 35 minutes
that's
in
true.
the oven, unless we put it in the oven and just chatted for 35 minutes. But
No, we can just do it.
yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
that was a good time.
Yeah.
I had fun with that one. I'm just thinking of it. I'm gonna eat it. Guys, like, subscribe, comment. If you want to request your own personal reaction video, find that link below. Stay tuned. Stay positive.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.